Steven, it's Star Wars Day. It's May the 4th, Steven. May
May
the
the
4th.
fourth be with you.
And
Hmm.
also with your spirit, or whatever people say when you say that to them. Steven, I watched for the first time as an adult, not for the first time ever, for the first time as an adult, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. When's
Okay.
when's the last time you watched this movie, first of all?
It's probably been 10 or 15 years, I would say, at least.
That's what
At
okay,
least.
that's what I was assuming because I feel like most people have an idea of this movie. They're like, I think I got it, and then they don't watch it ever again. I think
And
that's I think that's most people's experience with this movie. That was my
then you watch YouTube clips of the Darth Maul fight with Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan,
right, dude. Okay,
bypassing everything else.
okay. So I have two thoughts about this movie that I have to bring up before we get into the show. Steven. Thing the first, okay. Padme. Okay,
Mhm.
Padme Amidala is a 14-year-old elected queen. Okay, she's an elected official, the ruler of this planet, Padme Amidala, okay? She's elected, Stephen. She wasn't birthed into this position. She wasn't like she's a fourth first of all. Come on, you're a 14-year-old elected official. They had no better representatives. That's crazy.
The
Anyway,
youngest are the wisest where we live.
okay, to make matters crazier, Stephen, Padme, pretends to be a servant for Amidala, who is taking her place, pretending to be her. There's a stand-in decoy queen, while Padme Amidala, the elected official, pretends to be a servant. Now, Stephen, now
Yes.
you'd think since she's an elected official, everyone knows her name, everyone knows her face, everyone knows exactly who she is. There's no
It's pretty
hiding.
crazy that her servant's name is Padme and she's just looks so much like the queen,
She
but
looks exactly like the queen. Her name is also Padme. Steven, why didn't she just say, my name is Jane? Why wasn't she just like, yeah, as a servant, call me like Jill or whatever it is, like call me Samantha? Like, what are you doing? I don't
my
understand.
name is Cinderella. Okay.
I just thought that was so. And now you might be out there right now, and you're like, listen here, people can have the same name. There are other Anthony's and other Stevens. Okay. So we have Obi-Wan Ben Kenobi, right? And we have Ben Solo, right? Are there any
Mhm.
other examples in the Star Wars universe of names existing more than once?
Do, 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 do. I mean, everyone knows there's at least 10 Newt Gunrays.
Yeah,
There's probably at least 12 Wattos.
but but what was driving me crazy? I was like, it's just such a simple thing to do. If you don't want to get assassinated, at least change your name. Not to mention, Stephen, we're talking about a civilization of magical like venom beings and such. Like you're telling me there's no kind of glamour you can use. You can't put on some sort of like makeup or something to make yourself look a little bit not like Padme Amidala, who was an elected official. Like what are you talking about? It's just so crazy. Anyway, Stephen, the more important thing that I have to bring up is the fact that Jar Jar Binks is literally
Mhm.
the Jack Sparrow of Star Wars. It's
Okay.
Dude, it's uncanny. You could go watch Pirates of the Caribbean, right? And you watch this like weird, absolutely immature, ridiculous character,
Similar silhouette. I have to
similar
add is very
silhouettes,
similar.
stumble through existence, accidentally saving the day and like
Mhm.
killing bad guys. That's exactly what Jar Jar Binks does throughout this movie. Just like accidentally stumbles into trouble, somehow saves the day and becomes a hero. What? And also,
Gets a
not to mention,
medal.
incredibly silly and hated by most people who meet him. Just
Hmm. Despised, utterly despised. By the way,
so
there's hate campaigns against Jar Jar Binks.
he's the worst Gungan you've ever heard of, but at least you've heard of him. Anyway, we have issues that aren't Star Wars related. So let's get to the show. Hello, welcome to We Have Issues. I'm Anthony.
And I am Stevie Wildcard.
And every week, my best friend Stevie Wildcard and I get together and we do our best to overcome the various issues and obstacles and nonsense that life throws our way. We like force choke them to death so we can get something done. We kill a bunch of Padwans because that's how you bring balance to the Force. Steven, the Force makes no sense. You can't have balance between evil and good. It doesn't make sense to be like, you know what we need?
There
We
is no
need
balance.
we need balance between this thing and this thing. Yeah, but those people over there want to kill children. Eh, a couple children. Like, what are you talking about? You can't say this. That doesn't make sense. Like, you can have a balance between order and chaos, Steven. You can have a balance between not killing children and killing a bunch of children. That's crazy.
It's true.
Anyway, we're not
Can't
talking
make a
Star Wars.
bunch of gray with that.
So, all right, we're not talking Star Wars anymore. We're talking our life, the universe, and the comic issues we have. So, Steven, how did you do this week? What do you have going on?
I've just been keeping pace on flatting. And what page are you on, by the way, so I know where to
Uh,
switch from that?
Ooh,
And
good question. I think I'm on page 15 or 16. One of those.
okay, okay,
Maybe 16.
because
Yeah.
yeah, I'm working my way back from 24, so I'll double check where I'm at and just tell you when to stop.
Awesome. Heck yeah. Yeah,
Send
dude.
me what you have too, but if or just send me what you have, and then I can start shading that because
Ooh,
that would
true.
be
That would be
too.
awesome. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Then we'll get
Yeah,
pages them very quickly. That'd be awesome.
send me the
So
first 15 pages, and then yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
heck yeah. No, so if you're listening to this right now and you're like, what are they even talking about? We recently kickstarted a comic book. It's Deathless issue 4. We are now in the process of finishing this dang book. It's a supernatural superhero culty comedy comic. We're on issue 4 of 5. We're almost freaking done. It's been a long time coming. It took us about a year to
Mm-hmm.
do the last issue. It's been
Mm-hmm.
it's been a while. We didn't even have a Kickstarter last year. That's like how long we've been working on this.
Yeah, there was
been a
the jump to issue 2 of the other project in between. So I mean, we did get wasn't that like 13 or 14 pages that one?
yeah.
So we got a lot of pages done, but yes, Deathless has been on the back burner, unfortunately. And now it is no longer on the back burner. It is on the
Thank you.
foreburner.
It's on the four burner. So we are working on that. We're going to finish that up. And we're at the tail end of that process. And issue 5 is already written, so we're ready to just jump into that. I know we do have
Mm-hmm.
Bloodlust issue 3 coming. So Steve and I are hired on the side to make a kind of raunchy action adventure vampire book, and it's like a comedy action adventure like sexy vampire book, and it's fun. It's a good job, that's for sure. It's been like
Mm-hmm.
it's a nice time. It's fun to work on. Not like our it's not our like personal passion project, but it's a cool thing to be able to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Absolutely, yeah.
but dude, so this weekend it was Cammie's birthday, so we came over your house, got to see a bunch of people I haven't seen in a while. That was nice. Isn't it weird just like maintaining friendships as adults? It's just
It is funny how like we'll just the amount of time you have changes so drastically as you have children and do things. And yeah, like the maintaining like those friendships that you've had forever. It's like it's challenging.
Yeah, dude, it's so weird, and like you see, like Josh, like you've been friends with Josh forever. I've known Josh for a really long time now, but Josh has been one of those people of like who's kind of like come in and out of my life in various ways. Like I've gone out to eat with Josh, like multiple times, just the
Mm-hmm.
two of us, and then we just didn't. It's
Yeah,
just like it's weird how that works. I'm like, okay, so but I do kind of like the weirdness of adult friendships where it's like hey, I guess we're we're friends again. How's life? Like what's going on? You kind of act like
just like the like you pick up where you left off type situation.
it's really interesting how that works. I guess that it works that way when there's like not like a deep animosity or anything. It's just like weird adult stuff gets in the way, and like it's relationships and that kind of thing. Which is like I'm pretty proud of myself for being able to like still like we still hang out and I still do things every other
Mm-hmm.
week and still like do our podcast literally every week. We're still making comic books
Every week.
every week, and because it's so easy to like fall into a relationship and to fall into because just like familial duties, because like we all have things to do
Mm-hmm.
all the freaking time. I've dude, it's so weird. Like I've been busier
This
than
is
ever.
endless.
Yeah, like I've
Uh-huh.
been busier than ever lately, like I work more than I've worked in a long time, it just and then after work I have more side work for work, which is like I need to
Mm-hmm.
do to pay bills, so it's just like there's always so much going on. So I feel really glad and like thankful that we've been able to just keep doing this. And I haven't like I don't know. I know every once in a while I fall a little behind where I'm like, ah, I should have colored more this week, but I'm like, I couldn't because of all these other things. And I'm just like,
because of the responsibility. Yeah, yeah, like because like that's what happens, especially when drawing like all those pages. Like you just
yeah,
if you don't have enough time to really put in the like work,
yeah,
which we still do. Like we've taught the lesson that squeaking in anytime you can is worth it, and that's why things still do get done, even though it takes forever. But yeah, man, like you can really like life is busy. I mean, we're knock on wood fortunate that we don't deal with like the horrible curveballs. Like, I mean, the life
oh,
has thrown us some. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, like, there are so many things that we could be also juggling
oh
that
my
we
God, I don't
thankfully
know.
are not juggling at the moment. You know, and
I
but
mean,
yeah,
we've had our
life is
yeah,
just we
yeah, we've
definitely
had
have.
our
I'm like
fair
trying to
share of those,
undermine like what
but
we've been through, but
it's but I mean that's part of like why we take various breaks or like well not
mm,
even breaks, why it's just it stretches out because we still work on things, but it just
mm,
takes a while, you know. But now it's kind of like I'm busier than I've ever been, but I'm also being more productive than I've ever been. Like I'm getting a lot
mm.
done. I'm working on multiple projects while also running like Dungeons and Dragons campaigns and also being,
Iner-
you know, like
inertia is a bitch, man. Inertia
yeah,
once that object is moving, it's moving. You know,
yeah,
so.
dude. Oh man, so it's true, and like hang on, what was the other thing I wanted to talk about before? Adult friendships, birthday parties. Oh, but yeah, dude, I just like speaking of inertia, it's like, I've been talking about wanting to make a movie for, my whole life. My whole life. And I feel
Just
like
my entire existence.
just my entire existence, no big deal, no big deal. But it's just so funny because like there's always some excuse or like reason to not do it, and like a lot of it's valid. Like I don't want to make it in the same way. Like I don't want to put a comic book out into the world if it's literally just you and I drawing on napkins and stapling it together and trying to sell it on a corner. Like that's different than what
Mm,
we're doing. And and not
yes.
to
It's the confidence of being like further. We're further in our comic craft than our movie making craft. So yes, I get why like you're worried somewhat because you don't want to just stitch together a movie. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
And
And well,
get
and
people to back crazy amounts of money to support it, and then not deliver
and not
basically.
deliver. Yeah. And that's not to say like, oh, I expect my first film to be perfect. Of course I don't. But I want it to be good. I want it to be pretty decent. Like I don't want it to be garbage. I want it to be something that like at least I like, that I look at and I'm proud of
Mm-hmm.
in various ways. I know it's going to be like riddled with things that I'm like, I could have done something that just like just those little improvements that I know I could make. Um but I've been thinking about it a lot, dude, because like you know how I always had that idea of doing like an anthology and kind of like kickstarting one piece and then like um essentially saying
Adding
like
to the.
yeah, and like well you kickstart one short film, then kickstart another short film, kickstart another short film. You do that four times, put them all together, and now you have like an anthology. It's the same thing as the comic book. We're going to have a graphic novel. And I was thinking about it and I was like, that's not a bad idea. Because I'm nervous that if I tried to kickstart the entirety of the thing, it would fall short of the goal that I actually need to make it what I want to make it. You know what I mean? But I do think that if
Mm-hmm.
if I were making like a short, even an ambitious short, I could probably pull that off. So I was like, maybe that's the way to go. The problem with that is like the rewards. I don't know. I don't think the price would ever be able to justify printing a DVD of a short film. You know what I mean? And that, like I know most
Mm-hmm.
people like don't want digital or physical media these days anyway, but I think there's a chunk of people who would want that, who back
You
the
want like the thing to
want the
show,
thing.
and not
Ex-
just a file.
exactly. I mean,
Just
I
like
know
how I want the indie comics I back, not the PDF.
exactly, dude. That's exactly where I am. So that's kind of where I've been kind of spinning with that lately because I'm like the idea of doing it in chunks makes sense for the money and like the intimidation factor, but I do think that without being able to offer like that physical reward, I think the doing it doing the feature as just going for it in one big hole makes more sense because I think then I could be like the
Mm.
reward is you get a DVD, you get a Blu-ray, you get the commentary or whatever else.
Hmm.
I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. But Steven, I've been thinking about So remember recently I talked about my how to dispatch a vampire idea?
Yes.
So yeah, the idea where the guy gets bit by a vampire and he calls the
Mm-hmm.
911 and they
He's
refuse
talking to
to.
the hotline
Yeah, he's
baseline.
talking
Yeah.
to the dispatcher, and the dispatcher's like, "I'm not sending someone out there for a vampire," you know. He's like, but he starts talking to him, and he's like, "Fine, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning, buddy. Like, I'll humor you if it is a vampire." And he starts like kind of talking to him about like how you could kill a vampire if you had to, or how you
In
could cure
in
your
theory.
in theory. So that's like the joke of it, where it becomes like kind of like Home Alone Jaws, but with a vampire. And it's like there's a vampire outside. We have to kill it somehow. It's trying to kill us. It already bit me. If I don't do something about this, I will become a blood-sucking creature of the night and probably kill my
Mm-hmm.
my family or whatever. So I was thinking, dude, like instead of how to dispatch a vampire, we can easily do how to dispatch a monster and do like a segment. Like it's literally the same setup every single time. Like the character goes outside, he sees a zombie, or he goes outside and
Gets
there's like
attacked.
he gets attacked by something, and it's like a zombie, a werewolf, and a vampire. I feel like it might need four, but I don't know what the fourth one would be. I'm between things.
Because
I'm like,
zombie and mummy is the same thing.
yeah, and you don't want to. I feel like Mummy is like a little too silly. Like because I want it to be
Yeah.
like silly and a little scary at times, but I don't want
Mm-hmm.
to like you know what I mean. I feel like if I'm gonna go too silly, I think the way I might want to do it is like a kind of like we'd have to do straight puppet, which would be crazy, but like a gremlin-esque thing where like oh I find a creature and like you have the idea of like oh what is this I don't know it's not a puppy and you don't know what to do with it but you have to figure out the rules like gremlins can it get wet what
Mm-hmm.
happens if it does what happens if blah
Can
blah
he
blah
eat after him? Yeah.
yeah, so then you start like because we're all children of these movies of like of the 80s and 90s and stuff. So we're like,
Mm-hmm.
"Ooh, wait, is that similar? What would happen to this thing?" So then just like to explore the rules of a random creature would be fun and it would like lean into like super goofiness. So I think if I were to go like goofier on one of the shorts, it would probably be something like that. I don't know what other monster I would want to do though. Like, can you think of anything?
I
Like,
just imagine like do you think it's like one of those like gremlin things and it just cuts like Family Guy esque to like you like force feeding it.
or
I'm
force
looking at
it.
a timer that's past 11:30 and I'm spraying it with a hose just to see if anything's happening.
I do kind of like that, but like that in particular feels more like a YouTube short than a movie. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
for
Like
sure, for
short
sure.
film. That's what I'm like. I don't know. So, but like it's also like a creature feature thing. Like that's like those little creatures. There was like ghoulies and like what, like Menchie and like there are so
Critters,
critters. There was always exactly, dude. So it is a
Puppet Master in theory even is kind of like that
yeah.
too. Puppet
Yes,
Master had the
dude. Yeah,
little
where you're like, yeah, Puppet Master, the adult Toy Story. Um,
that movie terrified me as a kid. The drill head,
oh
the
heck yeah.
drill head puppet
Dude,
in
you know,
particular,
you know
like
what
that whole
was
scene. Ugh.
what was creepy about that movie to me is like the way they moved because they had this like weird
Yes.
unnatural slow motion like movement to them and like I know it was like a budgetary restraint that forced that but dude it was like unsettling because it's not natural but it's
Yes.
also not like it's I don't know something about that it's like uncanny and it just makes me mad
Hmm.
but
Yeah,
like
no,
it's like
those that Puppet Master movie was terrifying.
yeah, I kind of want. I'd like to watch those again. But I don't know, dude. I'm thinking, like? Do you think? Maybe something like that would work. Maybe like a little creature would be like a good fourth. I don't know what order I would do it in, but like, I think I'd want it to be like maybe something scary or something silly, something
I think it
scary.
it ends with either werewolf or vampire. I
Yeah,
feel, I feel like it ends with vampire, right? Because
yeah.
vampire is the most
I, I,
intelligent predator out
yeah,
of the four, right? I mean,
yeah,
like,
yeah. I think it would. I think ending it with vampire would make sense because it's like where the idea originated, and I think it would. And
hmm
I have the funniest or like best idea for how to end that already. So I like that. I'm not positive. I know how I want to do the monster in the werewolf, but I don't know how I want to do the story yet. Because the rest of them, it's not so hard to like to do. Okay, there are zombies outside. I know how one person can make that interesting. Or if like there's a a vampire outside, I know how one person can make that interesting to watch. If there's one person acting with like a little monster, like a little creature, that's easy. But like
Hmm.
a werewolf outside, it's like, okay, well, like what do I like? Okay, so if it bites you, the thing I want to explore, Steven, is like the moon is full. The moon is full the night you got bit, which means you should transform the night you get bit. No one ever thought.
Immediately, there
No one
must be an
ever.
incubation. There,
Yeah,
there must be an incubation period though.
but isn't
Like the
it
virus has to set up in the body or whatever, you know.
but I think it's interesting because like we've seen zombie movies and vampire movies where there's like an incubation sort of period, right? Where they have to they
Hmm.
kind of like gestate or whatever. Like their vampires or like their monsterdom is like gestating and it takes over them at takes them over at some point. But I've never seen that with werewolves or where like suddenly they're like rah. I think the closest oh there was that movie Howl where they're like on a bus or something. I haven't seen it in a long time or like since it came out. I think that they did that. I think they did like a you get bit and it's like a zombie hit,
Instantaneous.
like instantaneous. Oh, I have to watch that again to see. But either way, I want to explore that and the idea of like what how do you slow the process and like what do you have to do? Maybe I'll introduce someone else. Like maybe Carl's will want to be in it or something, and she can like be a neighbor or something. I don't know. I was thinking about like she could be like my sister because that's weird. But like maybe she could be like like maybe my character.
Kink fulfilled. No, I was kidding.
No, but
I'm just kidding.
well, but I'll figure it out. But I like this idea. I do like the idea of doing the like the little creature. It could be fun. I don't know. Like I know people don't generally watch a lot of anthologies, but they do around horror around like October. Like horror season comes, like Halloween season comes, and people watch all horror movies. So it's like
Hmm.
it could happen. And well, look at like Art the Clown. Like Art the Clown came from
Hmm.
a an anthology, and now it's a new iconic horror character.
Yeah. How
So
many
like,
Terrifiers have there been?
yeah,
Two.
and now there are three of them.
And
It's
working on three.
yeah, isn't that
Oh, three's
crazy?
done.
Three's done.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
So yeah, it's a Christmas one, right? Yeah, isn't that crazy? So now there are three of those, and like I forget what it's called, like All Hallows Eve or whatever. But it's just like it's doable, and there's an audience for it, and I am the audience for it for like the thing I'm talking about. So I feel like we can do it. I get like in my head about it, but like I do want to write it. So I think like after I'm done, um, with all the Deathless stuff, I'm going to jump into that, and just like
Mm.
try my best. I'm just gonna write it and do my best, and maybe we'll do like a table read where it's like the two of us doing it on the air. You know
Table
what I
reads are
mean?
always fun. People
Yeah, so I mean, we can do
so
it live or we can do it like this and then like edit it. But if you're watching this right now, let us know what you think. Let us know if you want to hear a table read of our How to Dispatch a Monster. I hope Steven wants to do it with me. Steven, you want to make a movie with me?
always.
Okay.
I will never say no. You could be like, Steven, do you need to want to make a pornography with me? I'm like, I think it's a little outside of my wheelhouse, Anthony,
So,
but since
so
you're pitching
speaking
it.
of pornography, no, I'm just kidding. But speaking of that, Steven, I did ask my the people I work with if we could use the office to film the movie for like the cop scenes because
Oh, nice.
there are desks in there that make a perfect office and we can easily just dress it up a little bit and make it look like a small town like police precinct
Dispatcher's office.
dispatch
That's
office.
awesome.
Yeah.
And they
So
were
I
all
was like
cool with it, I'm sure.
yeah, yeah. And Brandon, well, I asked Brandon, he was like, yeah. He's like, that's cool. Just don't make the movie suck. I was like, all right. But like he was joking. But I hope. Oh my God, Steven, we have to make a good movie or I'm fired. No, but isn't that cool?
I'm
So
assuming I'm dispatcher guy,
yeah,
yeah?
100%, dude. Like I
I'm
mean,
Clancy, basically.
yeah,
I was always, I mean, he was
yeah.
always my
I think
representative, I think.
yeah, I think so. I think we can do it. I think it'll take a little like it'll be like a process for both of us to get used to acting, because like
Hmm.
it's hard to go from like, ha, this is so silly to like, no, we're really talking about this. Like it's getting serious,
Like, no,
but
this is
also
who I am. I
this is
am
who
this
I
guy.
am. Yeah. So I don't know, but it'll be fun. I think we can do it, and I think we can do it well. I just like I'm trying to believe in myself. I already believe in us with the comic books. I'm trying to believe in us with the movies. I think we can freaking do it though, dude. But anyway, speaking of the comics, what are we doing this week? What do you have going on?
We are finishing Deathless 4. I've been also like working on like the sketch cards that I have to do because I think there's
Oh,
71 of them roughly that have to be done.
yeah.
But yeah, no, send me the pages and I think I'm gonna get all 15 of those shaded for you this week that you
Ooh,
have.
heck
So
yeah, dude.
That way, hopefully this week we'll bring in the at least some of the cameo surveys. That
Yes.
way I can start penning in those cameos, because like you basically shouldn't even bother coloring. I've already colored some of them anyway, but you shouldn't even bother with the last few pages that have the cameos, because all of them are going to have different characters drawn in there. So
Yeah, for sure.
um yeah, I'll just color those ones. So I wouldn't even worry about coloring like this the city scene, basically. Just avoid all of
Okay.
that. But yeah, so like I think I'm gonna get all the everything that you have colored so far. I'm gonna shade this week is my goal, and then hopefully some surveys come back with cameos. So that way I can do the cameos, and then we can be done with the art, and then just have to worry about the t-shirts.
Yes. So speaking of that, this week I'm going to color my butt off as much as I possibly can, and I'm also going to send out surveys. So if you backed us on Kickstarter, if you're watching us right now and you're like, "Hey, where's my comic book?" It's going to, I mean, if you look at the dates, we did say what, August. It's like, so it will be here in a couple of months. We have to finish this book. We are very close, but we will be sending surveys so we know where to send the book, what size shirt you wear if you got a shirt, and we need to get a picture from you. So you have to send us a picture if you were one of the people who got a cameo. You get to be in the comic book, but we have to know what you look like. And also, we're probably gonna like ask people how they'd like to be thanked in the back of the book because I didn't really include that as one of the rewards. I figured we could just do that for literally everyone.
Mm-hmm. That sounds
Just
good to
like
me.
yeah,
71 people's easy.
yeah, just make a page in the back of the book and say thank you. Because
Mm-hmm.
like it means the world to us that you freaking showed up for this. But that's what we're doing this week. Let us know what you're working on, but just know that we're thankful for you. Know that we're so glad to just have
Absolutely.
anyone watching this, have anyone supporting our book, and thank you so much for sharing our freaking Kickstarter. Stephen, I'm proud of us. It was the most profitable Kickstarter we've ever launched.
Which is incredible. And like just to know that the people that backed it this time are the same, they're the same people that backed it the third, the third, the second, the first, the play it again. Thank you for showing up and doing this for us each and every time, so that way we can actually work on passion comics and just get these things into your hands and be, comic book illustrators and writers. We appreciate each and every one of you.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you so much from the bottom of our freaking hearts. We can't wait to get this book to you. So make sure you fill out your surveys and send them in as soon as possible. I'm going to get them out probably when this episode is out or like Thursday. So like this weekend, they will absolutely be in your hands or in your emails somewhere. But thank you again. Until next time, I'm Anthony,
I'm Stevie Wildcard.
and this has been We Have Issues. We will see you next week.
So this episode airs on Wednesday.
Okay.
And Wednesday is actually a very special day for a little girl. So I want to say happy birthday to you, Cambria. Happy 11th birthday. I love you from the bottom of my heart. And I hope you've had a great birthday week, because that's basically what's happening at this point, is you've had like a bunch of days of celebrating you, but you deserve it. We love you.
100%. Yeah. Love you, Kimmy.
Boom,
So,
boom, 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 boom.
Steven, if you could, since it's Star Wars Day, and I know this drops just after Star Wars Day, but whatever, since it's Star Wars Day, if you could drop any character from anything into Star Wars universe as a Sith or a Jedi, who would you want to drop into that?
Ooh, I
Any
would
character or
drop
person?
Frieza. I would drop Frieza in as a Sith Lord, because I feel like,
Dude,
I mean, the Empire just wins. I mean, if
100%.
Frieza is the Darth, like
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
I mean,
100%.
geez, like what do you even do against that?
Yeah, it was so
What would
funny.
you drop?
Oh, dude, like okay, so I asked on Twitter because I was like, my first thought was like how funny Freddy Krueger would be as a Sith if he just was like, boom. Yeah, he just was like, boom. But then I was like, oh, Jason would be cool too because he has like his machete, like, boom.
Yeah,
Just like crazy. I don't know.
dude, Ash with a Jedi
A
lightsaber or
Jedi lightsaber
chainsaw.
chainsaw would be awesome. Just like a
That'd be
like a hand
yeah,
lightsaber would be awesome, dude.
it'd
Oh,
be so epic.
there's so many cool people you can add, and it's just like I mean, pretty much every Avenger would be cool to see as a
Oh
Jedi,
yeah,
right?
for
Um,
sure. Thor just fits the build
oh,
immediately. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
But like Iron Man is like the perfect like dark Jedi, like like kind of bends the rule. He's the Qui-Gon for sure.
Oh,
Like where he's like bends the rules a little bit.
yeah, dude. Can you imagine freaking? You imagine Spider-Man with a lightsaber just like swinging it
Oh my
around
god.
like oh my God. Like
You
this
thought Yoda was epic doing those flips. Like
right?
Spider-Man with a lightsaber would be like Yoda tenfold.
Unstoppable.
Like
What do you even do? Yeah, it's oh God.
mm.
There's just so many cool characters. Anyway, if you're watching this,
Daredevil with his batons. I mean,
oh
like
my
he's
God, that
freaking
makes so much
throwing like
sense. I love that
oh
idea. Holy crap. Yeah, if you're watching this, let us know below who
the
you would
blind
like to
Jedi.
see as like a Jedi or a Sith. I just think it's a really interesting, fun, like question. Anyway, love you all. And Steven, I love you.
Love you
The
all.
best.
I
Have a
love you
good
too,
night.
dude.